lifestyle designers. This is Zach here with secretsoflongevity.com as well as martin-kilgour.com. And it has been way too long since I've made a video. I'm very glad to be back. I finally got a new camera. It's quite an ordeal. My last one slowly just kept degrading over time, and I got this new camera and it was recording in the wrong format. It was too advanced for my computer basically. And I returned that one a couple weeks ago and I ordered a new one online. It's the same one I'm using right now, but I ordered it on Amazon.com and I was ordering a book with it, and I didn't even realize it, but the book was back ordered, so they were waiting to send that to me, and I just checked online. It was like, it's been 9 days since I ordered it. Just to make a long story short, I just went out and got this. I had to drive a little further than I would have liked to, but I felt like I really needed to get back into the swing of videos here, and I'm very glad that I'm going to be shooting this again. So in this week's Q&A on Sunday, it's happening on Monday evening, but I did want to catch up with the questions and sort of things people have been talking to me about. So Lawrence Rush on YouTube has asked what my thoughts are around Hippocrates Health Institute and their non-endorsement of smoothies, whether they're green smoothies or superfood smoothies or really anything blended. And yeah, it's true, they don't endorse it, but that's not my personal standpoint. And I'm not going against what anyone has to say about blended things being in lesser nutrition. I personally haven't seen the studies that some of these people are talking about. I've heard people say that, yes, you blend nutrition, you've only got 10% left of the nutrients from when the food was whole, and I find that quite hard to believe, but you know, it's possible. I haven't seen the evidence, so I'm still in question of that. But what I have seen is the difference between how quickly a juice oxidizes when compared to a smoothie. And because I consume both, I do know that if I make a juice, I definitely have to drink it right on the spot. Not gulp it down, of course, but if I don't drink it sort of continuously and I try and save it in some way, it separates really quickly. It starts to lose its vitality and it becomes kind of like sour, at least a green juice does. I don't really do carrot juice or other things, but I've heard similar effects happen with fruit or root vegetable juices. But yeah, the greens don't last long in juice form, and I believe that's because the fiber's been taken out, and that's good. I think juice is great, but I think it actually oxidizes quicker than blended smoothies, whether it's a green fruit smoothie or a more superfood nut-based elixir type of smoothie. And you can just tell if you leave them sitting out, the juice definitely oxidizes quicker, and it separates and it degrades quicker. Now, in terms of the actual blending, if that destroys any of the nutrients, that's another story in and of itself. I get tons of vitality from both juices and smoothies, and they both involve the grinding of food matter, so it's really hard to say, but my personal opinion is that they're both great. I don't think one's better than the other. They both have their place, and I think we can take advantage of both of these technologies to take in nutrition and help us stay on a path of optimal nutrition to enhance our long-term health. Now, I've been away for a while, so there haven't been too many questions, or perhaps I've missed them, or I've just been speaking with people one-on-one, and nothing's coming to mind as to what I can answer. But one thing that I do know is that I've gotten a lot of feedback in regards to some talk I was putting out there in terms of my consumption of animal products. I just put a Facebook status update recently where I was announcing that I was consuming, or just got some raw goat's milk and goat cheese, and unpasteurized, of course. And I had some interesting feedback. I wouldn't say people were angry or not, but there was generally that sort of vegan attitude that it was just so shocking that people who thought I was vegan, and I haven't been vegan for a long time. I've only ever been vegan for a couple of months, and I just decided it's not really that big of a deal to stay that way. So I was consuming some raw eggs here and there. I've consumed raw dairy products in the past, or this raw grass-fed whey powder. That's something I'm consuming right now. And this new addition in Ontario, actually the laws are quite strict. It's very hard to find raw dairy products, but I have a source for that. I'm not going to go into any more detail in that for obvious reasons, but it's a great thing that I've been exploring. And I just wanted to talk about fermented dairy in the form of cheese. And this is something that people really go on hard about when they get into raw food for the first time, and they're kind of coming from that paradigm of all animal foods are bad, they might be coming straight out of a standard American diet type of situation, so they have this clearing out of all the junk, and then they have a lot of hate towards what they have been feeding themselves the whole time, so they label all dairy products or all animal products as one big group, when in reality there's a vast spectrum of quality in all these things, and also their nutrition ability. So if you've been consuming genetically modified bell peppers, for instance, and you suddenly went over to organic, homegrown red peppers that you grew in your backyard, you'd have a pretty bad view of GMO bell peppers. But that doesn't mean that all plant food is bad. I mean, you're probably smart enough to know that you need plant food in your diet, but if you were to be consuming, factory farm dairy full of pus and chalk and cut with tap water and just all the bad things that go on in that industry, and you go to raw, grass-fed goat's milk, there's a vast difference in quality and what the effect it has on your body. I literally have not consumed dairy for a 3-year period. There's 1 or 2 instances where I had small amounts of something here and there, but in terms of a regular consumption or a large amount of consumption, in the last 2 days I've consumed nearly a gallon of goat's milk, which is not something I intend to do on a regular basis, but it's just something I've been exploring to see what effect it has on my body. I have not had the slightest feeling of bloatedness, feeling of mucus. It's just a completely clean feeling I got from it. I felt it was very necessary for where I was currently at. I was very attracted to that, and I followed that intuitive feeling and also did my research to back it up, that I know this is something safe to consume. So what I was going to say about cheese, I kind of went off topic there. Cheese definitely has that idea around it that it is, because so many people love cheese, they really push it away when they go into the raw food vegan mentality, even though it's considered a vegetarian food. It's some people hate it more than they even hate meat, but because it's been fermented, cheese has actually got a unique vitamin in it that you really can't get from anywhere else unless you're willing to eat natto, which is a disgusting food that is actually a soy food, and I'm just not big on phytoestrogens, so I don't want to consume natto, plus it's very hard to find. And this is vitamin K2, which vitamin K is abundant in leafy greens and all sorts of various foods, but K2 is extremely rare, and it has a similar action as vitamin K. It helps strengthen the bones and the teeth, and it's very sort of a foundational fat-soluble vitamin that we need for optimal health, yet it's very lacking in strict plant-based foods. So that's one reason I'm consuming the cheese, the goat cheese, and I would encourage you to check it out. Some health philosophies, such as the Weston Price type of perspective on diet, they came to the conclusion that this was a factor in many foods that traditional cultures were eating that allowed them to have such robust figures and bone structures and dental structure. So I'm definitely not a hardcore proponent of Weston A. Price's work, because I think there are also a lot of flaws in it, and I don't think that we need to eat a predominantly animal foods diet. I'm definitely not going to be going there, because I don't like the look of the double chin, but the idea that there can be a place for a small amount of these I think is very fitting, and you don't see any long-lived cultures without a small component of animal foods, whether it's even a small amount of meat or vegetarian sort of dairy type foods and eggs. There's literally not a single long-lived culture that didn't have a small amount, between 1 and 10% of their diet as animal-based products. So that's something I keep in mind, and I just wanted to bring to the table in this video. So again, as always, ask questions throughout the week. I'll be posting more videos finally, and hope to see you out there. Take care.